as somebody who mostly goes to the gym at what you would call off-peak hours, I often forget how primal of an environment it is. I can't help but feel like it's an incredibly, how would I put it, groundingly primal environment. It can intimidate many, empower some, and I believe that at the root of that disparity between whether it intimidates many and empowers some is because of how primal it is. And I'm going to use the word primal a lot in this video because I've already found myself searching for another way to explain it, but the harsh reality is that is the best way to explain it. And the way in which I'm using primal in this context, I'm referring to, in this case, an environment that elicits instinctive, animalistic urges and desires. And I mean that across the spectrum. And now what got me thinking about this is, tonight I spent my time in the gym in the evening, which is rare for me. And it being early January, evenings are unlike any other evenings of the months in the gym. It's fucking busy. It's absolutely packed. Especially at gyms like a Pure Gym. Any gyms that are fairly cheap to go to, they're always going to be seriously busy. And it was nice. It was nice. I fucking loved it. I loved it. Because at the root of it, you literally build a cage for a load of animals to go in there in the pursuit of strength or mobility or size. And at its core, all they are seeking is power. That is a primal fucking environment, if you're asking me. And as somebody who considers themselves a fighter first, and what I mean by a fighter first is, in my case and in my experience, I developed a discipline for physical exercise outside of childhood bliss through fighting. My first experience of discipline through physical exercise was football, but I don't really consider that when I think of what I just explained, due to the fact that it was just what I did as a child for enjoyment. So I always did it out of pure enjoyment. There was never an element of what I would consider conscious choice and doing it for a purpose of improvement. So as somebody who considers themselves a fighter first, I was talking to my friend about this today. I find myself very comfortable in uncomfortable situations. The confidence that you gain from fighting isn't so much about being able to fuck somebody out. That's not what's important. And anybody that knows a fighter knows how down to earth they are and chilled out and relaxed they are 99% of the time. And I believe that that relaxed element is built and developed by their comfort in war and their comfort in being uncomfortable. At the root of it, that's what fighting gives you. And slowly but surely, especially at busy hours, I'm coming to appreciate that element of the gym. And I'm beginning to respect the gym a lot more, because in a much less personal way, it provides a similar stimuli, especially at busy times. And the thing what instigated this train of thought for me was the fact that busy times understandably intimidate a lot of people. And when you're in the gym at a busy time, you see a lot of people not only get flustered, but some people just pack their bags and give up because they're unable to get a piece of equipment they want or use the space that they want, or so on and so forth. However, I feel like I'm one of these people myself, but as somebody who observes a lot of people, the people that thrive in those moments, very similar to my experience when I first started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, are the ones who are good at it, the ones who are confident, the ones who walk with power in their step. And now I'm not talking about being the biggest guy in the room or being the strongest guy in the room or anything like that. Of course, those things help. But fundamentally, just being confident and being powerful. And the way in which I describe power when referring to a human being is one's ability to hold his place in space and time. And I got that from an old teacher. And you find when you watch people that demonstrate an element of power in the gym at busy times, they never find themselves in a situation where they are flustered or waiting for a piece of equipment or get duped by somebody else who was a little bit more powerful and willing to go and take that piece of equipment for themselves, obviously in a civilized manner. I'm not talking about, obviously I've been talking Primal and I'm not talking about taking a piece of equipment from somebody, but just having the ability to maneuver yourself in such a primal environment and get what you want out of that environment. It's not for the faint-hearted. And I go back to what I was saying with regards to somebody who sees himself as a fighter first, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu being my introduction to fighting and anything disciplined physically. It really resonated with me tonight how potent that was and is in a gym, and how beneficial that is for people who are willing to grind out the gym and build themselves up to a point where they feel that confidence and that power within them to navigate their environment in a powerful way as a powerful person. And it is quite nice to see. And if I'm being completely honest, the thing that awe strikes me the most, the thing that leaves me in awe the most, is when you see a woman having developed themselves up to that point. Because I can completely understand why the gym is an intimidating place for a lot of women. I completely get that. We've cultivated many places, gyms on this planet, where the human being goes to make themselves stronger and, as a byproduct, increase their levels of testosterone. That's not a friendly environment for a woman. If that environment existed in the wild, you wouldn't catch any females there. So kudos to the human female. Kudos to her, because she's gone out and she's made herself comfortable and powerful enough to navigate that environment. And the reason as to why it reminds me a lot of my personal experience with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was because the gym that I came up in placed a huge emphasis on a sparring game that's called King of the Hill, which, simply put, you have however many people on the mat in the middle who are allowed to stay in for what is 4 rounds, 4 wins, and then everybody else stands up in a line and takes turns at trying to beat the person who's on the floor to stay in for their potential 4-win streak and then switch out. And I will never forget those early days of being a white belt and just spending so much time standing on the wall, and you feel like an absolute dickhead. Like, brother, like, what the I need, like, it's motivating, it's fuel. Obviously not for everybody, but thankfully for me and the people that I went with, it was motivating, it was fueling. Like, you're burning at the fact that you only got a handful of rounds in, and you watch this guy or that guy and these guys like just constantly sparring, and worse yet, there's nothing worse than getting beat in the King of the Hill and the guy being like, "Oh no, you staying, that was my fourth." Oh, painful. However, it's a beautiful barometer of how far you've come, because next thing you know, 3 months later, oh shit, you know what, I'm actually spending a little bit more time in here than I used to. 6 months later, oh yeah, nah, this is getting consistent now. 9 months later, oh shit, I'm in here a lot. I don't really stand on the wall no more. Like, I'm getting good at this shit. And I can't help but feel like that same energy is felt in a very different way in the gym. And it's just a fight for, especially, specifically at busy times. We're just all standing against the wall, taking our turns at fighting to stay on a piece of machinery. It's a bad analogy, but you get my drift. You catch my drift. But yeah, man, the gym, it's a very, very primal environment. So shout out to you for spending time in there, for having the courage to spend time in there, because it is intimidating, and it always will be. And that is one of the best parts about it. Embrace it. Love it. I'll see you tomorrow.